My name is Tonia. My roommate and I are looking for a nice apartment near my college's campus. We are very quiet and study a lot. I study history and my roommate studies French. We are very interested in renting your apartment. We can pay the rent on time because we do a part-time work too. Some of our friends live in the same building and have recommended your place to us. They mentioned that you are a kind and responsible landlord and we hope to have the same positive experience. I would like to make an appointment to view the apartment in person. Our application form is ready, and we are prepared to proceed with the process quickly. We look forward to hearing from you soon. Best regards, Tonia.
New BC. Residents will only be required to provide their driver license history. Proof of insurance is no longer required. However, their premiums will be adjusted for the first 3 years of driving in BC due to the increased risks associated with driving in a new area. Each year you remain crash-free, your discount increases. I will credit you with up to 15 years of driving experience, up from 8 years, upon receipt of a driver's abstract showing the original date that you received your license. When obtaining your BC license, you can provide your original driver's abstract in person at a driver licensing office.
What is a country and how is a country defined? When people ask how many countries there are in the world, they expect a simple answer. After all, we've explored the whole planet. We have international travel, satellite navigation, and plenty of global organizations like the United Nations, so we should really know how many countries there are. However, the answer to the question varies according to whom you ask. Most people say there are 192 countries, but others point out that there could be more like 260 of them. So why isn't there a straightforward answer? The problem arises because there isn't a universally agreed definition of country, and because, for political reasons, some countries find it convenient to recognize or not recognize other countries.
Away from the rumble of Shanghai's highways and the cacophony of the shopping districts, stroll down side streets filled with rows of tall brick houses. In the early evening or on a weekend morning, you'll hear the sound of classical music drifting from a piano, played by a 10-year-old or a grandmother in her 70s. Wander down another alley toward concrete skyscrapers, and you'll hear Beethoven or Mozart flowing from a violin or perhaps a cello, accordion, or flute. In China, classical music is booming as mightily as the 1812 overture. Commanding ye 00-200, 512.50425 per hour, private music teachers in Shanghai can readily earn more than 5 times the average per capita monthly income. London's National Portrait Gallery is currently celebrating the 50-year career of photographer Sandra Lausada. The 21 portraits on display depict key figures in literature, film, and fashion from the early 1960s. Subsequent to the acquisition of 40 portraits by Lausada, the display at the National Portrait Gallery highlights shots taken between 1960 and 1964, many of which feature in Lausada's book Public Faces, Private Places, 2008. Formal commission portraits are shown alongside behind-the-scenes photographs taken on film, sets, and unguarded portraits of sitters captured at home. The universality of story feature films are narratives. They tell stories. Even films based on true events will fictionalize them in order to produce drama, to telescope time, to avoid being filled up with too many minor characters, or simply to be more entertaining. Even in the current welter of special effect movies, feature films are usually summarized by their plots in their first treatment or outline of the script idea, in the advance publicity, in the TV guide, in reviews, and in conversations. Films may differ from other Kinds of narrative literary fiction or television drama, for instance in the medium used and the representational conventions. They do, however, share with literary fiction and television drama the basic structure and functions of narrative. Much work has been done by researchers in the field known as narratology on exactly what constitutes the structures and functions of the narrative. Their conclusions are of great use to students of the feature film. Fancy locust for lunch? Probably not if you live in the West, but elsewhere it's a different story. Edible insects, termites, stick insects, dragonflies, grasshoppers, and giant water bugs are on the menu for an estimated 80% of the world's population. More than 1,000 species of insects are served up around the world. For example, kungu cakes made from midges are a delicacy in parts of Africa. Mexico is an insect-eating or entomophagous hotspot, where more than 200 insect species are consumed. Demand is so high that 40 species are now under threat, including white agave worms. These caterpillars of the tequila giant skipper butterfly fetch around $250 a kilogram. Eating insects makes nutritional sense. Some contain more protein than meat or fish. The female gypsy moth, for instance, is about 80% protein. Insects can be a good source of vitamins and minerals too. A type of caterpillar, Ustaterpsichore, eaten in Angola is rich in iron, zinc, and thiamine. What do they taste like? Ants have a lemon tang, apparently, whereas giant water bugs taste of mint and fire ant pupae of watermelon. You have probably, inadvertently, already tasted some of these things, as insects are often accidental tourists in other types of food. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration even issues guidelines for the number of insect parts allowed in certain foods. For example, it is acceptable for 225 grams of macaroni to contain up to 225 insect fragments.
Herbal is a book of plants, describing their appearance, their properties, and how they may be used for preparing ointments and medicines. The medical use of plants is recorded on fragments of papyrus and clay tablets from ancient Egypt, Samaria, and China that date back 5000 years but document traditions far older still. Over 700 herbal remedies were detailed in the Papyrus Ebers, an Egyptian text written in 1500 BC. Around 65 BC, a Greek physician called Dioscorides wrote a herbal that was translated into Latin and Arabic. Known as De Materia Medica, it became the most influential work on medicinal plants in both Christian and Islamic worlds until the late 17th century. An illustrated manuscript copy of the text made in Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, survives from the 6th century. The first printed herbals date from the dawn of European printing in the 1480s. They provided valuable information for apothecaries, whose job it was to make the pills and potions prescribed by physicians. In the next century, landmark herbals were produced in England by William Turner, considered to be the father of British botany, and John Gerard, whose illustrations would inspire the floral fabric, wallpaper, and tile designs of William Morris 4 centuries later.
The United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945. Due to its unique international character and the powers vested in its founding charter, the organization can take action on a wide range of issues and provide a forum for its 193 member states to express their views through the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, and other bodies and committees. The work of the United Nations reaches every corner of the globe. Although best known for peacekeeping, peacebuilding, conflict prevention, and humanitarian assistance, there are many other ways the United Nations and its system, specialized agencies, funds, and programs affect our lives and make the world a better place.
Language comes so naturally to us that it is easy to forget what a strange and miraculous gift it is. All over the world, members of our species fashion their breath into hisses and hums and squeaks and pops and listen to others do the same. We do this, of course, not only because we like the sounds, but because details of the sounds contain information about the intentions of the person making them. We humans are fitted with a means of sharing our ideas in all their unfathomable vastness. When we listen to a speech, we can be led to think thoughts that have never been thought before and that never would have occurred to us on our own. Behold, the bush burned with fire and the bush was not consumed. Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains. Emma Woodhouse, handsome, clever and rich, with a comfortable home and happy disposition, seem to unite some of the best blessings of existence. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. I have found it impossible to carry the heavy burden of responsibility and to discharge my duties as king without the help and support of the woman I love.
The last tourists may have been leaving the Valley of the Kings on the West Bank in Luxor, but the area in front of the tomb of Tutankhamun remained far from deserted. Instead of the tranquility that usually descends on the area in the evening, it was a hive of activity. TV crews trailed masses of equipment, journalists milled, and photographers held their cameras at the ready. The reason? For the first time since Howard Carter discovered the tomb in 1922, the mummy of Tutankhamun was being prepared for public display. Inside the subterranean burial chamber, Egypt's archaeology supremo Zahi Hawass, accompanied by 4 Egyptologists, 2 restorers and 3 workmen, were slowly lifting the mummy from the golden sarcophagus, where it has been rested mostly undisturbed for more than 3,000 years. The body was then placed on a wooden stretcher and transported to its new home, a high-tech, climate-controlled plexiglass showcase located in the outer chamber of the tomb where, covered in linen, with only the face and feet exposed, it now greets visitors. If you are interested in studying but have other commitments, our online and distance learning courses offer an alternative, flexible mode of study. Teaching is conducted through a mixture of audiovisual, written, and interactive materials. There are also opportunities for online discussion and collaborative projects with tutors and other students. Some programs include residential modules taught on campus, giving you the chance to meet and work alongside your tutors and fellow students face-to-face. Our graduate school provides comprehensive support for distance and part-time researchers, many of whom study for up to 6 years or more.
Founded after World War II by 51 peace-loving states combined to oppose future aggression, the UN now counts 193 member nations, including its newest members, Nauru, Kiribati and Tonga in 1999, Tuvalu and Yugoslavia in 2000, Switzerland and East Timor in 2002, Montenegro in 2006, and South Sudan in 2011. United Nations Day has been observed on October 24 since 1948, and celebrates the objectives and accomplishments of the organization, which was established on October 24, 1945. The UN engages in peacekeeping and humanitarian missions across the globe. Though some say its influence has declined in recent decades, the United Nations still plays a tremendous role in world politics. In 2001, the United Nations and Kofi Annan, then Secretary General of the UN, won the Nobel Peace Prize for their work for a better organized and more peaceful world. Since 1948, there have been 63 UN peacekeeping operations, 16 are currently underway. Thus far, close to 130 nations have contributed personnel at various times, 119 are currently providing peacekeepers. As of 31 August 2008, there were 16 peacekeeping operations underway with a total of 230 personnel. The small island nation of Fiji has taken part in virtually every UN peacekeeping operation, as has Canada.
Film is where art meets commerce. As Orson Welles said, "A painter just needs a brush and the writer just needs a pen, but the producer needs an army. And an army needs money. A producer is just like an entrepreneur. We raise money to make films. First, we need to find an original idea or a book or a play and purchase the rights. Then we need money to develop that idea, often a reasonably small sum. Besides, to commission a writer for the screenplay isn't something you would want to gamble your own money on, so you find a partner. We are lucky here in the UK, as we have Film 4, BBC Films, and the UK Film Council, all of which are good places to develop an idea. Producing in Britain is very different to producing in America, or even Europe, because the economic dynamic is different.
One thing is certain, most people do not get enough exercise in their regular routines. All of the advances of modern technology, from electric can openers to power steering, have made life easier, more comfortable, and much less physically demanding. Yet our bodies need activity, especially if they are carrying around too much fat. Satisfying this need requires a definite plan and a commitment. There are two main ways to increase the number of calories you spend. Start a regular exercise program if you do not have one already. Increase the amount of physical activity in your daily routine.